Call to order the Wednesday, December 16th, 2021 meeting today at Thursday at 7 p.m. And introduction of the commission members.
Okay, on the top.
Mike Clayton.
John Emery.
Anupreet Minhas.
Okay, the next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So approved, no nays. Approval of the minutes of the December 1st, 2021 meeting.
Motion
Any-
to approve.
What?
Motion to approve.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous. Public forum. This is, oops. I got to read the Planning and Zoning Commission is an independent advisory body of the City of Ames City Council. The planning and zoning members are volunteers of the community and not part of the administration. The commission is responsible for the preparation and adoption of the official comprehensive plan of the city and gives advice and recommendations on matters involving amendments to the zoning ordinance and the historic preservation ordinance and guidelines, subdivision annexations, master plans, and major site development plans, and developments within the Ames urban fringe areas. As an advisory commission, we welcome all comments and questions. We make our recommendations based on code, the facts, and input from the public. If the proceedings are become lengthy, we may ask that comments be focused on the new information not previously presented. You may speak only once on an agenda item. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker information card and present it to the recording secretary. We ask that you come to the microphone and speak so that all comments may be recorded. Please state your name, address for the record prior to making any comments. The order of the proceeding for each item on the agenda will be as follows. City staff will present the staff report regarding the agenda item. Commission members will then have an opportunity to ask questions of staff. The applicant will be invited to make a statement regarding the request. Commission members will have an opportunity to ask questions of the applicant. Members of the audience will be invited to come forward to offer comments and questions. Once public comment is closed, city staff and applicant will have an opportunity for concluding remarks. The commission will discuss the application based on all presentations and any comments given and come to a recommendation with the city council. The discussion may include further questions, city staff and the applicant for clarification. Okay, the public forum on anything that is not on the agenda tonight. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, rezoning of 23959 580th Avenue.
Good evening. Tonight, the rezoning before you is to rezone the property identified with the blue outline from ag to II, intensive industrial. This property was part of a larger annexation earlier this year. All 4 of these properties were part of that annexation, and prior to that, back in July 2020, there was a fringe plan amendment. At that time, the land was designated planned industrial to kind of help that property come into the city, get zoned industrial, and continue the use of this developed property. The properties surrounding it are all farmed currently or undeveloped, with the exception of those along 580th. And those are all residential, except for there is a commercial use right here on the corner. And speaking with the property owner throughout the last couple of years, they intend to reuse the building that is there. It used to be known as Caramoli. It was a food production facility several years ago that was built originally in the county. So their plan is to reuse that building, whether it's through lease or through sale, maybe divided up into tenant spaces. So in order to do that, it needs to be rezoned. Again, through all the conversations we've had to them prior to this point, we've recommended the II, the Intensive Industrial Zoning District. That is because it is it's pretty close to the Prairie View Industrial Center, which is located to the north and to the east of this property. And there is a future proposed US 30, a new interchange that's going to be constructed on this corner. So this maneuvering and this intersection will change how it functions to some extent. So that's really why we led to the II district. The fringe plan, or excuse me, the the land use plan that was in place. We have a new plan 2040 that was just approved by City Council Tuesday night this week. Both of those do support this zoning. It's now designated as employment in the plan 2040. So again, we're supportive of this rezoning. It's pretty straightforward. There are no city utilities to the site right now. The landowner has been fully aware of that since these discussions started and the process started back in 2020. There are no plans to bring any utilities to the site, which is kind of unique when when land's annexed into the city. But they will have to comply with all of the city's building codes and fire codes, and they are had conversations with our fire department and our inspections department. So they're working through those issues, and they know what's going to be come before them eventually. So with that, I can answer any questions that you may have.
Quickly, do we have any sense of timeline on when the DOT approved interchange might be coming in?
They've acquired stuff for the property. I thought they were going to start in 2021. I did not see anything on their website today that said a start date, but so I would assume 2022.
Yeah, I believe it's 2022 and 2023 is the time frame for doing it. The last I had talked to a transportation planner, which was a couple months ago. So yeah, so acquisition has definitely been done, or it doesn't show here. If you look on the east side, the orange doesn't show up. They acquired right away on the east side. You can kind of see how there's a different look there. They acquired easement through this property rather than right away. So it doesn't show up on Beacon as a property line, but it has been acquired as an easement through here.
This is the property right here. So this is the north property line up here.
That's where our new road's going, up there on the north side of it?
Yeah. So they'll keep their driveway. So basically 580th, Teller, whatever it is, it'll cease to be an at-grade crossing of Highway 30. Those three properties down there will get essentially a dead-end road that they have access to, and then the new public road will be in that blue with the yellow lines indicating the new public road.
And so they're going to move 580 to the east.
Yeah, it's going to get adjusted to the east to build the grade separation for the highway crossing.
Okay. Any other commission members have any more questions?
I do. What exactly, you said that they understand what they have to do for like the fire and building, city building codes. What is it that they have to do eventually for that?
Well, they do have septic and water on site. There's a small water line into the site now. So the building, it was sprinkled when it was Caramoli. They'll have to make sure that that's operational. And depending on if they do split up into tenant spaces, they would maybe have to put in firewalls. Those would have to meet building code and fire safety ratings.
I guess I'm wondering, since normally when land is annexed into the city, that there is utilities that are provided to the site. Is there going to be an expectation that happens in the future? And is that who pays for that then?
It will be, it was in the annexation, a condition of the annexation approval that it's at the owner's expense.
Okay.
There is no timeline right now for that.
Okay.
There is a water extension that's been bid along Lincoln Way, East Lincoln Way to the north of the site, but where it comes south from there is not set or designed yet.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions from commission members? Seeing none, I invite the applicant to make a statement regarding the request.
Good evening, Commission. My name is John Gady. I'm with Fox Engineering at 414 Southeast 17th Street, right here in Ames. I'm here tonight representing Scott Larson. He is with Larson Leasing, and he purchased this property and helped the city with voluntary coming in for annexation, and simply wants to fix up the property and rehab it. And I think planning did an excellent job of explaining the reason why we're rezoning this property. So essentially he can lease out these 5 spaces, these 5 buildings to tenants. So he's fixing up the site. He has to get the water system up and running again because it's been sitting vacant for some time. So he's been working with the fire chief. He's got some consultants that is working on the fire system and the sprinkler system to address those needs. He's got to address any of the septic concerns, and we'll be waiting patiently for some time when sanitary and city water services become available to this property. So with that, I would answer any questions you guys might have on.
Under Zyra right now, or?
Yeah, it's on rural water, correct. And they have a standpipe for help with their fire suppression system.
Do you know if they have any tenants lined up or have a sense of the kind of businesses they might want to bring in?
Mr. Larson is from the Cedar Rapids area, and he has a trucking company. He's not planning, I don't think, to do anything with the trucking industry here, but he also has some business ventures where he does do storage. He does do flex space rent out to these tenants. I'm not certain if he has any people lined up right today. There are some people, I think Verbio that out there is from Nevada. I think that they're actually using some of this right now for some type of storage.
I have a question,
Mhm.
just because I'm curious. So you're saying if he's going to break it up for tenants, how does like the water and utility system work that is in place now? How will that work for each separate tenant?
It's rural water, so all the tenants themselves will, he won't split it up probably in individual meters. And so that'll just be part of their lease rate. It'll just be as part of their lease. And he'll take care of the water costs. The key is that it's sat for so long that I'm thinking some of the sprinkler systems froze, and so they need to fix all that. And so he's hired a consultant to address that need. So
That was going to be my next question. So thank you for answering that one too.
Any other questions for the applicant?
well, very good. Thank you, guys. And I'm glad no one blew away. So we can do this tonight. So
Okay, any members of the audience that want to come over now for comments or questions? Seeing none, the public comment is now closed, and the commission will discuss.
I had a quick question for staff. Could you remind me what kind of uses are we are allowed in the II zoning district?
It's similar to the general industrial district. It's a new district for the city of Ames. It was created in part for the Prairie View Industrial Center. So I don't have them memorized. Do you have them memorized, Kelly?
Not memorized, but it's pretty permissive. It doesn't allow for commercial uses like any kind of retail use. So when this all started, Ames Plan 2040 didn't exist. We were working within the PI designation, and your choices were planned industrial zoning or II, intensive industrial. PI is really designed around more of a business park. kind of approach. So this seemed to fit better with the range of uses the applicant's looking for, because it does allow for industrial service uses versus PI is more warehouse, R&D, and manufacturing and office. So it's a lot like general industrial. It allows leave actually more intense buildings, but it doesn't include the kind of commercial miscellaneous kind of uses that could also end up in a GI zone.
And it's only going to be that blue hatch area, correct?
For now.
Yeah,
Not
so
The businesses in front of it or.
those are not in the city, correct? So that the clear aerial photo area is not in the city.
Okay,
The
that's
green is what's in the city. So different owner controls all the green area to the top. I think they're waiting to see a little bit more what happens with the Lincoln Way utilities and and then also with the road. So when the road goes through, that green area then becomes much more usable. So I think there in the next 2 years, you'll see a proposal for something to happen out in that green area.
And that road that'll go through that green area is just the frontage road that comes up from the church, correct?
Yeah, it extends west to serve those uses over there.
Yeah, the two churches
And the
over by
DOT.
I-35 and the DOT's maintenance building
Yeah.
will use the new road.
I have another question. What would the impact be? So if we change this designation, zoning designation at this time, how, like if if the owner to the north decides that they want to go ahead and change theirs, what would the impact of us doing this now? Like, will it change what they're able to do with their property?
No,
Okay.
I'm assuming everybody out here is going to want II zoning.
Okay,
That's why we wrote it. They could ask for GI, but it's very, very similar to II. So those types of uses would be expected in the area regardless.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion from commission? At this time, I'll entertain any motion.
Then move approval of alternative one, that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends that the city council approve the request to rezone the property located at 23959 580th Avenue from A agricultural to II intensive industrial.
Do you have a second?
A second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, passes unanimously. Okay. Okay, commission comments. What's going on across from Menards?
Fill is being placed in the floodplain. That's all that's known. There's a pending rezoning. I'm sure you'll see it in January to make it HOC, but I know
Make it a what?
highway oriented commercial.
Okay.
I don't know what uses or what the development plan is. They have submitted a rezoning application though.
Hunsaker.
It's not Hunziker. It's owned by a different person.
I know it's owned by Plummerfeld.
Correct.
I thought, okay. Just everybody's been asking me what's going on. Any other comments from anybody? Got anything?
I have none.
I have 0.
So far, do we have anything on for the next meeting?
You won't have a meeting on the 5th. We haven't officially canceled it, but you'll be getting that notice shortly. So your first meeting in January won't happen. The middle meeting, the second meeting, you definitely will have that.
Okay. It's good to know.
Staff comments.
As Julie mentioned, Ames Plan 2040 was approved on Tuesday night. So hooray for us.
Finally.
Finally, yep. So almost 3 years to the day that it started. December 18th, 2018 is when council had their first meeting about it with RDG. So we'll slowly get maps and things replaced around the building. It was kind of weird to walk in the next day and everything's out of date instantly. So we'll be working through that. Different references and staff reports coming forward, and I don't know. We'll have a lot of little things to change in our template reports and make sure we try and catch as much of that as we can. City Council, they do goal setting at the end of January. So at that point, they'll be evaluating the work plan for the department, as well as how to attack that list of priorities that were included in the implementation chapter. There's a list of 3 categories: infrastructure, zoning and development standards, and then plans. So I would expect sometime end of January, beginning of February, to be a little bit clearer what the work plan is and kind of which elements you guys will be involved in terms of updates to the zoning code, subdivision code, or area plans.
And nothing else going on with West Ames out along County Line Road?
Nope.
See them playing around there all the time. So,
Yep.
okay. At this time, I will entertain motions for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
Okay. We are now adjourned.